Captain America throws his mighty shield. All those who chose to oppose his shield must yield. If he's led to a fight and a duel is due, then the red and the white and the blue will come through when Captain America throws his mighty shield.
Hi, huge movie fanatic you-know-who, coming at you with the first movie review for the spring season of 2014. I just yesterday saw, if you watched my previous review, you know all about it. Yesterday, for $5, Budget Tuesday, I saw my first movie of the year, first movie since October, since Gravity, a new movie in the theater. I saw Captain America, Winter Soldier, should be titled Steve Rogers Winter Soldier because he barely wears the goddamn flippin' costume. So, I mean, imagine like Batman running around without his costume or his mask. It's just, I hate that. Captain America is probably my favorite Avenger. I have a thing for these comic book characters, heroes from the old days, from the first half of the 20th century. I probably, out of any time in history, feel, I don't know why, to gravitate towards the first half of the 20th century. I feel like that's my era more so than the 80s were, which was my actual growing up, and 80s and 90s, which was the actual decades I grew up. I feel much more close, maybe not much more, but just as, I don't know, there's something in me that's deeply touched every time I see anything to do with like the first half of the 20th century. So I can't explain it, but Captain America is my favorite Avenger, probably because of that. But I also just love the character in general. I don't really obviously care about what he stands for and the America and all that bullshit, because I'm not a war enthusiast, or I think war is heinous and horrible and stupid, and I can't believe people actually do it. But I mean the soldiers, and think it's a good thing and believe that they are actually fighting for freedom. I think that's pretty funny. I mean, it's not fun, it's tragic. It's actually horribly tragic. Okay, I'm getting off into a tangent, but that's what I feel about military. So, I like Captain America, and we did review, this is on the first summer, I believe, of Huge Movie Fanatic's existence. We did review Captain America First Avenger. Now, at the time, I had only seen it once and was very impressed by several things in the movie, and the end credits, and the little musical number, and all kinds of things. I liked it a lot, and I actually gave it 4 stars. And I don't, having seen it obviously since again and stuff like that, I don't think Captain America First Avenger deserves 4 stars. It's maybe like more of a 3-star movie. So I just wanted to say that before I get into this review. So I had pretty much known that Captain America Winter Soldier, or Steve Rogers Winter Soldier, was the first movie I was probably going to see of 2014. But we did the RoboCop review, and I was like, we were both talking about possibly seeing it, and after I downloaded and put that most recent trailer, or that trailer into the RoboCop, it wasn't a RoboCop, it was a RoboCop trilogy review video. We reviewed the trailer at the end of it. I saw the trailer for the first, that particular trailer for the first time, and I'm like, forget it, I ain't gonna go to this crap. So I didn't see RoboCop 2014. So I pretty much knew for months and months and months that this would probably be my first 2014. I was gonna go, and I decided I wasn't gonna go in 3D because the movie's probably not gonna be worth $10 or more. And it sure as shit wasn't. I was pretty disappointed. It started kind of cool, and it was great to see Captain America back, or Steve Rogers back. I actually really like, I can't remember his name, I mean, I should be able to, but I don't. You know his name, the guy who plays him. I think I know a little bit about the character of Captain America because back when I was like a teenager and stuff, I was kind of interested in stuff like that. So I think the guy who plays him, which I don't know why I can't remember his name, I just don't ever see it or say it, and that's why, is pretty much perfect for the character, and I love how he's portrayed because he's very much my kind of person. When Fury was saying this is, when Captain Steve Rogers had that great quote right at the beginning of the movie, which involves someone after Nick Fury was telling him, "Oh, these big flying battleships can shoot 1 billion people at one time," and Steve Rogers voice, which is very much my opinion, something like, oh, they're got everyone under the barrel of a gun for security or whatever, which is, of course, the way the world really is now. And everyone in the world is giving up their freedom for supposed security, which is just a bullshit and just a big fucking ploy for control. But so I was impressed with that, the fact that it was actually made it into this big blockbuster movie that Steve, and I related to Steve's comment about, I can't remember exactly what it was, but something about, this isn't freedom or security, this is fear, which is of course what it is. Keeping people in line by, fear of being killed isn't my kind of freedom that I want. So moving on, I like how the movie started, and what I was getting at before is it was nice to see Captain America by himself again since 2000. I think the first movie came out in 2011 or something like that. Is that correct? I think so. And it was cool to see him on his own instead of like just a little part of this huge superhero frickin' group. And it was the first time I seen him in 2 years. So it was cool to see him, my ears plugged. So if I keep doing this, that's why. It got plugged like during my theater review rant. It was just probably just my fury, just plugged my ear up. So if I make these faces, I'm just trying to unplug my ear. So it's kind of distracting. So I'm going to try to make a long story short. What'd I say? 1.5 stars. I was, as I was sitting there in the theater, this was started off kind of like a 3-star movie for me. I really liked how the first, action scene thing happened on the ship, and then we got into some character development with like Steve, and I really liked that thing about all the guys from my barbershop quartet are dead, so I didn't really have any fun on Saturday. And I liked the thing that the movie started out with, why don't you ask her out? She'd probably say yes. That's why I don't say yes. I mean, that's why I don't ask. And just trying to unplug my ear. So the movie started out good for me, and then after the first action scene or whatever, we get into some character stuff with Steve, and actually, which I thought was kind of interesting, and I always wondered. I thought it would have been much more tragic in a way if that woman who he was involved or wanted or was going to, that woman from the first movie would just be dead. I thought that would be much more tragic. But seeing her old was kind of a good way to do it as well. But I was kind of disappointed that they did a little character stuff at the very beginning, and then after that, the first quarter of the movie, it's like, screw the character, we're just going to go into this Robert Redford, bullshit of, and by the way, the word terror, you know how I don't like the word terrorist in movies because it's just propaganda bullshit. I counted, I think the word terrorist was only used once in this movie, so that's pretty good, but it didn't have to be there at all. And so, the movie was mostly just crap. So this was, this overall, when I was done, with the action at the end, I was just yawning. And the whole idea of having this Winter Soldier, or whatever he is, be Bucky, I thought was so stupid. I'm like, and as soon as he's revealed as Bucky, I knew exactly how it was going to end. That obviously, when he's revealed as Bucky, and he shows any sign of, like he does, like brief memory of Steve Rogers, obviously right there you know what's going to happen at the end in regards to Bucky and Captain America, which is what does. Bucky drags him out of the damn water, and so the movie's so predictable. I was yawning, I was rolling my eyes at the end when it's like the same thing with the three hover aircraft carriers. We have to do this. We have to get. It's like a video game. We have to get. I hate this shit in movies. These things physically into each one, and then we'll be able to, I can't even remember, we'll be able to take them down or control them. And as soon as you say they need to get all 3 of those into each one, they're going to do it. There's no question of whether they're going to be able to do it or not. If they say we need to do it, it's going to happen, so there's no suspense about are they going to be able to do it? Same thing with Bucky. He's going to turn good at the end and either, go on Captain America's side or save him, which is what happens. I was so appalled. I was just so uninterested in the end action scene. The only action scene that sparked my interest and had me participating was not the whole thing, just the beginning of the ambush on what's his name, Nick Fury in his SUV when they blocked them all in and they were shooting, and like the glass compromise is blah blah blah, the glass integrity is 40%, and it's just like then they bring in this big ram, which in actuality would have just blown right through the window in the first time, so it's not realistic, but it's a comic book movie. That was the only action scene that actually had me intrigued. Everything about that until he got escaped, I was actually like, oh boy, kind of white knuckle and like, what's going to happen? You know, that intrigued me. That was the only part of the movie really that made me dive into the screen as a participant. And everything else, I was just sitting back, just going, yeah, blah blah blah. The action is just so, you know, it's not difficult to take a handheld camera or a bunch of handheld cameras and shoot something from different angles and cut it together. You know, the action in movies now seems to just be, is so boring to me, and it's just like, you know, sure, some of the fight choreography is interesting, but because it's, in my opinion, shot and cut so sloppily and boringly, you can't even, and with the shaky cam, you can't even see all the, you know, the time and stuff they put into some of the, fight choreography. But Captain America, Winter Soldier, 1.5 stars. I mean, at the beginning it was 3. As the movie progressed, it was 2.5. It progressed more, it was 2, and towards the end it was 1.5. It was just like, and originally I was thinking of going to see Amazing Spider-Man 2, obviously, for like $5 Tuesday, and now I don't know if I should even bother with that, because having seen this, you know, it seemed like for the last 2 or 3 summers, I'll start the season where I'll go start seeing movies like these summer blockbusters, and right away I'll be like, this is stupid. Of course, you know, last year started good with Oblivion. I still like that. You know, every time you see some of these blockbusters, like, should I even go to any more? And then you just do. It's like, well, maybe it'll be. And it's not. It's the same, except for Gravity, obviously, and Oblivion. You know, every now and then for me, there'll be something that's like kind of cool or very cool in the case of Oblivion and Gravity. So thank you very much for watching.